Politico Politica. Politics for everyone.
Welcome back to Politico Politica with me, your host, Isabella Akinseye. It's time for our politics and more segment. So, Omoyele, this is an opportunity for you to share that political journey. So, you've been a unionist, you've been very active in the struggle for democracy. How do you marry that with this new image as a politician?
You know, I don't want to be looked at as a politician. I would prefer to be looked at as a political activist, and I like to stick with that. The reason is simple. People who are called politicians in Nigeria, in our own local parlance, are people who are dishonest, people who take advantage of people or the country, people who are corrupt, and people who are wheeler dealers. And I don't want to be looked at that way. So, of course, I struggled with that. And I think at this point, people are very clear about my reason for joining politics is to clean up the political space, which is what I've always been doing. As a student activist, fighting the military, as a media practitioner, fighting corruption, helping to broaden the democratic space, you know, democratizing media as well, and ensuring that people have a chance to have their voice heard on issues that affect them all over the world. So I don't have a problem with being labeled. I think I've clearly defined myself and my purpose in politics.
And you want to sanitize the system, but people will say that politics is dirty, that surely you'll get yourself dirty in the process.
Politicians, the people you call politicians, made politics dirty so that only the dirtiest people can survive political contests. But we have to sanitize that and ensure that clean people can partake in political processes and remain clean and true to their ideals and ideas till the very end.
What are some of your political ideologies?
I am a welfareist. I believe absolutely in the welfare of the people, first and foremost, before everything else. So even though I hate labels, you know, because at the end of the day, labels don't do justice to character.
So the government will be very involved in providing services, amenities.
Absolutely, social services, providing amenities. Government is always the one providing services and amenities. And the private sector, as they call them, would come and pounce on government services, they pounce on government properties, they're sold to them, and then they take credit for it all the time. I'm not against private entrepreneurial engagement within a society. But what I'm against is the rent-seeking system, where people take advantage of what should belong to everybody, take it for themselves, and then claim credit for it. And we've seen that happen. That level of abuse is not in any way something that can be described as success or entrepreneurial spirit. I know what it means to be an entrepreneur. I started a website with one laptop, and in 12 years, it became probably one of the most competitive media company on the continent of Africa and the world, well recognized for it. So it's different from me sitting here and being willed to an NTA property, and then I claim that I'm an entrepreneur after that. You know, it's just unconscionable.
Who are some of your political, the people you draw inspiration from? I want to call them godfathers and godmothers.
Godfathers are not people you draw inspiration from. Godfathers are people who pin you to the ground and feed you with whatever they want.
But some will say they are political mentors, so
no, they're not
they're
mentors.
Just guiding you.
They're not guiding you. You're helping them to do what they want. You're a proxy to godfathers. So I wouldn't use the word godfathers, but to go back to your question, I mean, Nelson Mandela is a great example of someone who started as a political activist and took it till the end. As a statesman, he led a country coming from prison, and he has shown great example. I have Barack Obama, who was referred to as a community organizer, led the US for 8 years. Locally here, we have Chief Gani Fawemi and things that he did. You know, Femi Falana, I hang out with Professor Wole Soyinka. You know, even though they may not have made success of their political activism in terms of transitioning into, real politics, I respect them and I draw inspiration from them. I am friends with some of them till date, and some of them have been very, very supportive. So besides that, there are a lot of unknown individuals out there who have been so supportive. You know, if we mention their names, you won't know, but these are great people as well, and I don't want to step over them in saying thank you to all for making my political journey an exciting one.
I mean, if you get into government, how much radicalism will you still be able to keep? How much of your activism will you be able to keep? Or will you water it down for things to move?
So there are compromises that I would never make. So I'm never going to pay somebody to do their job or bribe someone to do their job. I'm not going to steal or let people steal things that belong to the public under my watch. I'm going to ensure that every project that has my signature is started and completed on time, especially because they have been budgeted for and paid for. I'm going to ensure that people get what they deserve: healthcare, education, food security, and have a country that is thriving. I'm saying it because I know it's possible. It's possible even around us. I mean, countries like Rwanda, Ghana, Kenya, they're doing well. And it happened because leadership did not remain leadership. We got to a point where it became transformational and innovative. And that is what is absent in our current political reality.
And my final question on this segment will be, if you're not successful at the polls, will this be the end of trying to seek elective office, or are you willing to work with whoever is victorious at the polls?
I've always been working for the greatness of Nigeria. I've been doing it for 30 years. It didn't matter who is in power. When the military was in power, same questions were thrown. You know, if you're unable to push the military out of office, would you rest? No, we're not going to rest until we attain the best for ourselves. You know, I've been asked, when I started Sahara Reporters, you know, if nobody reached you, would you close down the platform? I said no.
But will you keep coming back to contest for president?
We have to keep doing what needs to be done until we get it right. You know, so this is not just about it's not just about me. It's about a generation of people, young people particularly, 70% of them, who definitely know that the current levels of abuse, political abuse, corruption, and incompetence is not sustainable. So I'm not even contemplating losing, because it's a battle we can afford to lose. Otherwise, our generation will just grow extinct. And I don't imagine that I would be part of those who will let that happen. So it's a battle that cannot stop.
Thank you, Omoyele.
Thank you.
We'll be taking a quick break on Politico Politica. When we return, it's straight into our Project Nigeria segment. You don't want to miss that.